Hi, I'm Naomi.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And welcome to Lattice TV Gaming News, bringing you all the game news straight from South Korea. Of course, we have a ton of MMO updates for you, but first off, we're going to talk some business.
The South Korean mobile giant Kakao Games has applied for an IPO on the second-tier Kosdaq. Kakao Games was founded after a merger deal with Daum Game in 2016. It hit the ground running with its operating profit jumping sixfold in 2017 and hasn't stumbled yet. They have 7 new mobile games on the cards for release this year, including the hotly anticipated MMO action RPG Blade 2. According to the Korea Exchange Monday, the developer and publisher is projected to go public in the later half of the year, should they pass the screening process by market operator KRX.
And the mobile developer Come To Us has generated around $100 million in revenue for the first quarter of the financial year. This is the 10th consecutive quarter that their revenues have hit 100 million. This year, the developers credit as much as 85% of that total to come from overseas sales. Come To Us believes titles like Summoner's War and MLB Innings 18 were key to generating such figures. And in order to ensure the 11th consecutive quarter, Come To Us are globally expanding their Summoner's War IP with both comic book and animated series on the cards, as well as action figures and clothing.
Bad news, Blade and Soul fans. NCSoft has announced that the mobile MMORPG Blade and Soul 2 will be delayed until 2019. Despite originally being slated for release this year, NC announced during a quarterly financial call that development was not going as planned. They said the game was not meeting their expectations as an MMORPG title, so made the decision to push it back, hiring a new team and tooling major redesigns in the meantime. Blade and Soul 2 was initially announced back in 2017, with the first teaser shown during NCSoft's Media Day in November. Western fans were dubious on NC's decision to move the IP from PC to mobile, but it looks like the curiosity as to how the switch will work will just have to wait a little longer.
But it wasn't all just bad news from that quarterly financial phone call. While Blade and Soul 2 has been delayed, NCSoft did announce that its other upcoming MMORPG, Project TL, is still on schedule. Project TL is part of the hugely popular Lineage IP and a sequel to the first title in the series. Initially titled Lineage Eternal, it went through a ton of betas and reworks before it was rebooted as Project TL in 2017. NC claims an official launch will happen next year, which fans are taking with their well-practiced pinch of salt. Project TL has been delayed countless times since its first announcement in 2011, so fingers crossed that this long-anticipated sequel finally sees the light of day. Let's just hope it doesn't take Blade and Soul 2 7 years to finally get released too.
And with a little bit of news for the original Blade and Soul on the PC, producer Jonathan Lian published a letter on the official site last week that looked at the future of the game in North America and Europe, and came with a major announcement. A new class is coming to Blade and Soul this year. It is yet to be named officially, but looks like a classic brute strength, greatsword wielding tank. The twist here though is that instead of consuming the usual focus to use skills as other Blade and Soul classes do, this new class will consume HP instead, forcing more strategic and calculated combat decisions. With great power comes great responsibility. Lian also revealed a bunch of other updates that 2018 would see, including new 12-player raids, new solo and 6-player dungeons, a new legendary equipment upgrade system, and finally, the continuation of Blade and Soul's main narrative epic quest. The letter finally announced that Blade and Soul would be moving from the Unreal Engine 3 to the Unreal Engine 4 sometime beyond 2018, to improve graphic details, performance capability, and overall player experience. For a full look at all of the information disclosed in the letter, head over to the Blade and Soul official site to digest all of the new content coming our way.
In other MMO news, Netmarble finally released their new MMO strategy game, Iron Throne, on the 16th last week. Iron Throne was developed by 4Plat and published by Netmarble. It features classic war strategy gameplay woven with classic RPG elements. The player's goal is to win the capital war to take the Iron Throne and become king. Iron Throne is now available for download on iOS and Android devices via the App Store and Google Play.
And to finish up our MMO updates this week, Nexon announced last week that they plan to release its first R-rated mobile RPG Kaiser next month. Kaiser was developed under the same producer as massive mobile hit Lineage 2, Chekibyung. Nexon signed a partnership with LG Electronics, which means that the game will be pre-installed into LG's G7 ThinQ smartphone. At the moment, Kaiser is Korea exclusive, but Nexon has stated that they would consider a global launch after stabilizing the service domestically first. The quote-unquote hardcore MMORPG will have a pre-opening on June 4th and an official launch on June 7th.
It's been a quiet week for Korean Overwatch, but with Stage 4 of the Overwatch League kicking off last Wednesday, or Thursday morning for us in Korea, there's been a couple of new updates and things to look out for. Off-tank Choi Ho-bin has finally arrived in LA. He was signed to play with his old X6 teammate Architect in the Overwatch League team San Francisco Shock. It's unknown when he'll make his official debut since he has likely had very little time to scrim with his new teammates, but perhaps we'll see him in the second half of Stage 4. And after a record 30-match ban, main tank Sado is finally eligible to play for the Philadelphia Fusion and made his debut with an impressive showing against Boston Uprising last week. Sado cuts quite a controversial figure in the Korean scene. He was found to be behind a boosting operation for which Blizzard banned him before the league even began. While he has been embraced in the US, it'll be interesting to see how he is received here in Korea. Dallas field player OGE was caught in a very minor boosting situation compared to Sado's, and Korean broadcasters refused to say OGE's name on air. We're going to be making a video hoping to explain a little bit more about the perception and weight of boosting in the Korean scene specifically, so keep an eye out for that.
And everyone knows Yongsan, but have you heard about Gangmyeon? We're gonna head out there and film some more footage to introduce it to you.
I'm also going to have some footage from the Final Fantasy concert that happened on Saturday. And that's all from us today. Bye.
Bye-bye.